We got, oh, you got that going out again. He's got bells on? Very nice.
Yep, the official goat. My official
goat.
goat, anyway.
Nice.
Gives good side eye.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that. I was working on some of my branding today, and as you have seen, the Discord has become my official playground, sandbox, if you will, for some of my branding stuff. So I'm figuring some things out, and I was like, I really need to lock in one version of Stu if I'm going to keep doing this, right? I can't post two different things and have Stu looking totally different in each one. He can wear different clothes and stuff, but the image should be the same and instantly recognizable. You know how branding works. I don't have to explain that to you. So I was working on that today, and I had to choose between the eye shape on two of them, and one was like the one on your goat there, and another one was more of a wide-eyed cartoon one, almost like Powerpuff Girls. So those are the kind of difficult choices I was making today.
Sounds like you didn't have enough to do that really mattered.
That was my time away from my desk for lunch and break to clear my mind of all the frustrating stuff that I was going through.
Fair enough.
Don't you do that at work? Like when you get away from your desk, you don't want to think about the work stuff at all because it keeps you sane if you change your focus for a while?
No, I don't really work, so there's nothing to escape.
Well, that's always good for your employer to hear.
Yeah. Oh, it's all good. So, I've been starting on some tax stuff. I do my parents' taxes too, so I was working on that. And what else did I get? Oh, I wonder if I put it. Anyway, yeah, there's always something going on.
Yeah.
But no, I'm pretty good on my branding. I like my plain, simple, recognizable logo, so I'm sticking with that. And I got a great name, the Dollar Box. I can't change that at this point. So
yeah, I'm not looking at changing that kind of stuff. But Stu has a digital presence that I'm trying to solidify. Yeah,
you need a different mascot. Yeah. Yeah, well, good luck with that. There's a lot of options for goats. Some of them have 5 fingers.
I know, right?
Some of them have 9 legs. It can go anywhere.
I used to always feel compelled to kind of go with a more lifelike goat. Well, you've seen what we use for the card show and stuff, but boy, if you do a cartoon type, animated one, like you have so many more options.
Yeah, well, what's going to be hard is if you're going to continue to try to use him in AI, you're going to get different versions of it every time.
No, not necessarily. You got to lock in your prototype basically, and then it'll recall that every time. But you got to put in the time to lock one in first.
Yeah, in theory, because I've done it with trying to generate like thumbnail stuff and that, and it just doesn't. It'll drop words, and I mean, I'm sure it's going to keep getting better, but it ain't perfect.
Yeah, what I see a lot of is when I get an image and then I ask it to make some edits, it duplicates things, or it
leaves things out.
Yeah.
So, have you been watching the Olympics at all?
I have. Tough to watch Lindsey Vonn, crash and burn again, and but there's been other exciting things like Quadzilla and the women's hockey team. Not so much the women's hockey team, but the brothers of one of the players that have been going crazy on social media. That's really fun.
Yeah, they've been very dominant. I mean, Canada was supposed to be the big challenge, and they won 5-0 or something like that. Yeah. 4 players from Wisconsin on that team.
Yeah.
Wisconsin Badgers team. So that's pretty cool. The Wisconsin speed skater today won gold and broke the world record, or the Olympic record, excuse me, not the world record.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. It's, Lindsey Vaughn crashing was tough, but at least another American came down and won the gold on that one.
Yeah, Breezy Johnson. She's a heck of a skier too.
Won our first medal ever in curling, so that was pretty cool. I mean, things are going well that way.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I used to ski quite a bit, and there was a time when I thought I was pretty good at it, and then I watch that stuff and I see they're going like 70, 80 miles an hour sometimes, and I'm like, if someone were to be recording me on the hill and play it side by side with them, that's probably like,
yeah. Didn't do much skiing, but I did snowboarding, and
okay.
same thing. Like especially like the moguls on a snowboard and stuff. I'm like, God, how do you not snap your knees? There's
Yeah.
just going that speed and then down all the bumps, and it's wild. So
Yeah.
I did watch the women's snowboard qualifier yesterday or this morning. I don't know when, but that snowboarder broke her neck. That wasn't too good.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, she's Chinese, I want to say. Yeah, I might get that wrong. Don't quote me on that. But she wasn't a USA competitor. But just to see her come down and
all the time.
Oh, she was just out, like they couldn't move her or nothing. Yeah, it took like a half hour to get her, onto a stable, because you're in a half pipe.
Yeah,
it's not the best environment to you can't just drive a truck out there. So
right.
It took some time to sort of make sure she was going to be stable enough and then get her out of there. So
yeah,
it's just tough. Whenever
you see that stuff.
Yeah, you build so much for, a lot of these sports. This is it, right? The Olympics is where you get your chance to really, make a place, and, to have it end with stuff like that is. Then what was the skier from, I can't remember what country he's from, but after he wins bronze or something, and after he's done, he's crying and he's admitting that he cheated on his girlfriend.
I didn't see or hear about this either.
Oh my God!
What version of Olympics coverage are you watching?
I watch all of it. Let me see what skier admits. Yeah,
I had a lot of it on the weekend, but not as much during the week here.
They're interviewing. I'm like, oh hey, you won bronze. Are you happy? And he's like, 3 months ago, I cheated on my girlfriend. And Norwegian. He's from Norway. Norwegian. He's a biathlete. He admits to cheating on his girlfriend in a post-win interview.
Is his name Sven?
Or I don't know what his name is. Hold on. It's Sturla, Sturla.
Okay. No, doesn't ring any bells. Oh no, we got a freeze. Am I frozen? Or is Adam frozen? Sometimes it's really difficult to tell. I still see the timer kicking down, and I'm still moving.
Sorry, are you still there?
There we go. Yeah, I'm like, am I frozen or is Adam frozen?
No, I think that was me. I hit something on the screen. Yeah, so very, very interesting with the extracurriculars of the Olympics, and I guess his girlfriend responded to it too, but I haven't read that yet.
And she's like, "You think I didn't know, you bastard?"
Yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre to do that in like a medal acceptance speech. A little bit different lifestyle in Norway, so maybe that was part of it too. I'm not sure, but anyway, so there's been some interesting things. But watching Snoop Dogg curl, I enjoyed that a lot.
I did see that. That was fun.
So he's quite an ambassador for the games now, and I think it's fun to have him there.
Yeah. So he's a good fit.
Did you watch the Superb Owl at all?
No.
No? Mm-mm. Why not?
I guess it just didn't hit my radar.
Really?
Oh, you mean the Super Bowl?
Yeah. The Super Bowl.
So honestly, I did not watch the whole thing. I fell asleep at least twice during it.
Yeah, I kind of did too. It was defensive, which I knew it would be.
Yeah, it was never in doubt. So
I'll tell you one thing I did the 2 weeks leading up to the game. I sold the crap out of my Drake May cards because
yeah.
I think that dude's a little overrated.
Well, I mean, he's young, and you expect with young players, there's going to be peaks and valleys.
I think he has a really good team.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, that's good. You know, it helps him. He doesn't have to do everything to win. But
sounds like the Brock Purdy conversation of 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy's better than him. But yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that was a good time to sell Purdy stuff too. Sam Darnold, I don't know. I mean, I think he's one of those journeyman quarterbacks who gets on the right team at the right time, and it worked out. But and both of them played a little better later in the game, at least.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, New England at least made a little bit of a run there late, but then that pick six just kind of shut the door and shut it hard.
Somebody, calculated out how many yards the streaker got, and it was more than the Patriots got rushing for the entire game. That made me chuckle.
The network coverage always cuts away now. They don't show it, but you can find it on YouTube, and it was a player that actually ran him down, and then he just kind of went down in a heap as soon as the player just touched him.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hide something in an event that big. Like there's 70,000 people there with cell phones. It's gonna be out there, but I don't mind stuff like that. I think it's all in fun. Yes, should he be arrested? Yes, should he be removed from the? Of course, you have to deal with that. But based on other things that are going on in the world right now, I think it's fun.
Yeah,
there's a streaker every game. Let him take his shirt off and run for a little bit, and then tackle his ass and pull him out of there.
Right.
Make him leave. That's fine.
It gets a roar out of the crowd all the time.
I mean, sports is still entertainment. I know it's high dollar and big business and all that kind of stuff, but it still should be fun. And I honestly think this is conspiracy theory style here, but I kind of think they let the streakers streak. Like, there's a dude in the stand with his shirt off with writing on him. Like, that guy's running out on the field, right?
Maybe if he's in the first row, yeah.
We'll just watch him, and when he finally goes, obviously he doesn't have anything on him he can hurt anybody with. He's got no shirt on.
Yeah.
We'll let him take, we'll let him get 20 yards down. I mean, how do these guys get that far out onto the field if it wasn't like somewhat permitted? Like, they should be tackled on the sideline before they even get that far. There's 600 cops at this thing. There's no way.
I don't know. I mean,
so it's like, let him get his 20, 25 yards and, have people cheer, and then we'll tackle him and get him out of there. I almost feel like it's it's just an extra angle to the entertainment of it.
My theory on that is we all live in a false sense of security. There's really not as much security out there as you think.
I think there is at the Super Bowl.
What I'm saying is there may be a lot of cops there, but it is such a massive event, and they're trying to watch everything. That's like, that's like the county I grew up in. There's like 3 deputy sheriffs, for this massive sized county, one of the largest counties in Wisconsin.
Sure.
What are the real odds that you're going to get caught, speeding or something someplace? They're pretty low.
Yeah, unless you're in Rosendale.
Yeah. Then there's a trap just waiting for you.
Yeah,
just the ticket, Rosendale, Wisconsin.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta pick up
paid
one of
my
those shirts.
penance.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I've never been stuck. I've never been
a lot for work.
I used to do a lot of Madison trips too, and for a different reason, but I never got caught. there.
Okay.
I never really sped much either. And I like that little restaurant with the wooden barrel out front. I can't remember what the
Yeah.
name of it is.
Mhm.
You know, like right when you come into Rosendale or out of.
Is that the
consequently.
Black Bear Diner?
I think it's.
It's actually a Sasquatch out front now.
Yes, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've been through there like a bunch of times and I never had an issue. I have seen cops. I've seen the cops.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, all these years, I only got hit once.
It's a super tiny like area, but they just have it timed perfectly because it goes from what 45 to 35 to 25 or no 35 25 35 something like that.
Yeah. And I was talking with the locals one time and they kind of told me a story behind it, and it's a sad story why they're so big on it. A child did get hit by a car, you know, years ago, and unfortunately it wasn't a good outcome, and so they take it very seriously, and understandably so. But at the same time, they embrace it. They merchandise it and everything like that.
I'm sure it's a income producer for that, you know, a small town like that. They probably like the income because there's a lot of people that are going through there and they're not going to Rosendale. They're just going through Rosendale.
Right.
You know, on the way to Madison in most cases, you know.
Yep, it's that little shortcut.
Yeah, that's the way I always. Is that 26?
Yeah.
I want to say. Hey, how about
that? I'd say
that?
It's about 10 minutes if you take that versus going down, what is it, 151? Or
151, yeah. That's the way I always go to. Kind of through Oshkosh, you know, off of Oshkosh there. And anyway, people who are watching this are like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?"
Superstore, Adam.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
What is it? The Lions Den or something like that.
Yeah. There's Lions
right next
Den,
to the
and
truck
then
stop.
the other side is the outlet mall. So you have like Nike outlet and all that. So, ironically enough, that gas station there, I can't remember if it's a Quick Trip or a Mobile or what, but that's the one I pulled into when I was heading down to the Dells because it was raining and dark out and in January, and some large piece of metal that must have been on the road after an accident came up and ripped open my whole gas tank.
That's crazy.
And I just saw the gas mileage like,
yeah,
like,
I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
So luckily I got there and wasn't stuck on the highway or anything. I had 2 kids in my car, of course. You know, and we stopped and I was like, well, I don't know, maybe we just have a small leak. I tried to put a little gas in it and it just rained right out the bottom. And just peeled it open like a can opener. You know how like the old Popeye cartoons where like he'd pull it and it just like it was like rolled up metal, you know, that would come back. That's what it looked like. It was insane.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, you know. So never got hit with anything in Rosendale, but I got whacked pretty good on the highway there, right in Oshkosh. So, but yeah, so I think the Super Bowl was okay. It was nice to have 2 different teams in it. You know, we got to see some different players. You know, the defenses really showed up. So if you're into that sort of thing, there was good results from that. Didn't seem like there wasn't a lot of turnovers. There wasn't a lot of penalties. There wasn't a lot of like throwaway parts in the game. It's just the defenses were way better than the offenses.
Yeah, they were
big time.
That Seattle defense, especially, it is no joke. I think it's every bit as good as the Legion of Boom was a number of years ago. The way they kept getting pressure on Drake May with just the front
They're so fast. It was crazy to watch them go. And there's some condemnation to the Patriots offensive line. A lot of people don't feel like they're very good.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you know, you don't want to take any credit away from Seattle because they were monsters for sure.
Right.
So now we've got baseball starting, and literally today, pitchers and catchers reported.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. And Topps came out today.
Yeah.
Topps Series 1.
We didn't talk about from the Super Bowl though was the commercials, and I know you're a huge fan of commercials.
Sure.
So what was your favorite commercial on the day?
I didn't really see anything that totally caught my attention. The Ben Affleck the Ben Affleck '90s commercial was pretty good.
Mhm.
I like that. The Pepsi using the polar bears, I was like, really, kind of lame.
That
And
got a chuckle out of me.
I think Pepsi missed the mark though, because Pepsi is the first major soda company to come out with a prebiotic soda. Did you know that?
No.
Pepsi has a prebiotic cherry, the regular Pepsi and cherry Pepsi now.
Okay.
That just came out, I don't know, a couple days ago. So it's like you had an opportunity to actually advertise your product instead of, you know, poke at your competition that and I think Cola Wars, right? It was kind of fun when it happened, but I think it's been determined for
It's a
most
little
people.
dated too. Yeah.
It is. So like if you're a Pepsi guy, you're a Pepsi guy. If you're a Coke guy, you're
Yep.
a Coke guy. Like I don't think you're turning anybody at this point. You know,
Right.
you it is what it is. Pepsi it, you know, has its own flavor and does its thing here, and Coke does its thing over here, and you just have to accept that. Um but I think the prebiotic soda is that could be a good angle for them. They're the first like not invented new company, you know, like Olipop or you know one of
Yeah.
those. They're the first
Yeah.
ones to add it to like a major soda brand.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but I digress. That I feel like that one was kind of it was you're it was easy advertising, right? You just make a couple of you know computer bears and you throw them on the screen, and we're drinking Pepsi
It's.
instead of Coke. Okay.
I thought it was scandalous putting a Pepsi in the hands of the Coca-Cola bear. I mean,
I mean, Coke hasn't responded to it. I think they were kind of like, well, obviously we won because we're still living in your head rent free.
what are they gonna do? A
Um,
Michael Jackson commercial with Coke
right.
now?
And yeah, and start 'em on fire. Michael Jackson on fire cartoon. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of the other commercials. They're kind of
my
eluding me at this time.
my favorite by far was the Ben Affleck Jennifer Aniston Dunkin'
Yeah.
commercial where she's like, "You like donuts? Here's my boyfriend, and it's Tom. My new boyfriend is Tom Brady with the big wig on." And she says,
Mhm.
"How you like them nuts?"
Yeah. It was pretty good. It's a little creepy watching some of that stuff now, where it's like age changing and all that. But
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that one was pretty good.
I thought the horse and the eagle was,
Yeah,
kind of touched the feels.
yeah, there was a lot of that going on. A lot of like you know, bring America together type stuff, and
Yeah.
which is good. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I don't remember like product wise anything that really stood out to me that I I couldn't live without as far as commercials go.
Yeah, to your point, I don't remember any like new product releases or anything where I'm like, oh, I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I would like to see. The pony for the Clydesdales. That was kind of fun. It was coming in the barn. You know what I'm talking about? The Budweiser one?
No, I only remember the one with the pony with the eagle.
Super Bowl.
Might have been while I was sleeping.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't really good this year with that either. I kind of let's see.
I did watch one YouTube video which had a bunch of the commercials compiled together, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Hold on. Oh, freaking pop-ups.
Oh, jeez. You don't have a
It's
pop-up blocker?
Pop-ups should be outlawed. I don't need them. I don't go to this lookup type crap normally. I just work. I'm not a surfer on the internet. I just do my stuff and then I'm out of there. I'll surf a
Okay.
bit on my phone, but not. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the Ben Affleck one. Oh, the one with Guy Fieri, that was kind of interesting. Where he's like the clean cut shaven guy.
Yeah, a little different.
There was the Star Wars trailer, which whatever.
Which one was that?
The Pringles one was pretty funny.
Which
I remember
Star
that
Wars
one now too.
trailer?
With the Pringles. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and they're running through the snow with like a Tauntaun sled. It's supposed to kind of be a takeoff on the Clydesdale thing from.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that one either. I did just before the show though. I watched a video on the development that's taking place on Starfighter.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I said the same because they're making a point to have it be standalone, no ties to any prequel or sequel, and I'm like, it just seems like an action money grab then.
Yeah, and timing matters for that stuff, okay? Like, you could make really cool arcade game movies in the 80s.
Yes.
Because it made sense. You know, like think about Wizard, right? With what was his name? Fred Savage, right? So when they introduced like the Nintendo Power Glove, right? He has his little brother's like a savant, you know, arcade game player or something.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, that stuff fit then because we all dreamed of like playing in these world national Atari championships and it just doesn't hold any weight anymore. No one cares. Mm-hmm. It's like this kid who, you know, the original film, you know, is a kid in a trailer park, right? And life isn't going exactly as he wants it to go. So, you know, he plays this game out by the recreation center for the park, and, you know, and then eventually a spaceship comes down, and it, like, I don't know that you can do that in 2026. I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to buy into that.
Yeah.
And besides that, it's a cult classic. It's, you know, you don't remake E.T., you don't remake the Goonies, you don't, you know, and you're right. They said it's not a remake. We're trying to do a whole new story. Then just do a new story and don't do freaking Last Starfighter. Do something else. There's tons of other video games and, you know, properties like that you could do something with where you don't have to remake. No matter what they say, it's new story, new characters, all that. It's still a remake. Because
this is a Star Wars movie though, and they're like, there's not going to be any Jedis. It's just going to be more like Han Solo, and it just seems like a cash grab to me.
I thought you were talking about The Last Starfighter.
No, there's a new video Star Wars movie.
Because they're working on a Last Starfighter movie too. That's interesting.
With Ryan Gosling and Amy Adams.
I don't know. I'm done. I'm pretty much done with Star Wars. It's all just money grab stuff now. The Mandalorian and Grogu, I might see it because I did like the Mandalorian, but it's past that. It's past that time now. You're just making the movie because you know people like it, and you didn't make enough money off of it. We talked about this last week. Yeah. They weren't prepared for Grogu. They had no merchandising out. They didn't have. So then, like 6 to 9 months later, you go into a toy store and there's an entire shelf system of all Grogu crap, and it's like, it's done. It's already over with.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of us that wanted any of that, we made stuff on Etsy, and you know, like, we don't need you now, Hasbro. Like, it just doesn't. Disney does such a terrible job with Star Wars. They just do.
Yeah.
They just do. Even if they have a pretty decent project, they don't know what to do with it. They screw it up, and then they extend it for too long, and they miscast it, and like, I don't know, they're just a ball of fail.
At least now there's some turnover at the top with what's her name?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen. Yeah. So she stepped down. So maybe there'll be a new vision and a little better product.
Yeah, Dave Filoni is definitely a much better person at the top. You know, I mean, he basically invented Clone Wars. But yeah, I don't know. I just, do I need a Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Do I want to pay $100 to take my 3 family members there to go see it? No.
Well, and I feel like it's so late, right? Like the Mandalorian, was that 2 years ago already?
Well, it's had like 3 seasons, I think. 2 or 3 seasons, and then they kind of brought it in at the end of Book of Boba Fett because that series was failing so bad. So they had to throw Ahsoka and Mandalorian and Grogu in towards the end. But I don't know. They're just making movies for the sake of making movies. They're not telling any story that really matters or plays in. And
yeah,
you know, and I'm speaking as a 48-year-old guy who was around since, you know, the original Star Wars: A New Hope. I get it. And you know, all you know, youngins want to go and make this your Star Wars. That's cool. I totally get that. But for me, it doesn't. It doesn't have any value.
yeah.
I don't really need it.
I still watch them.
How many
I still enjoy some of the new ones.
Yeah. Well, I watched a couple. And a couple I watched and they were no good. They were not worth my time. For sure. But I mean, it's going to be a movie of, you know, Mandalorian's going to be too serious and he's going to run around trying to do this stuff. And then Grogu is going to be the little toddler he has to take care of. And like,
oh, he's probably a teen by now.
You know, stealing his shifter knob in his ship. And I don't know. I don't know that we need a movie of it. It's a great series. Leave it as it is and be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you mentioned, Topps flagship coming out. Series 1 is out as of today.
That is correct. I bought 0 of it, and I'm okay with that.
We talked about that a little bit earlier today. I told you I'm trying to avoid watching any content about it because I know that I shouldn't go out and get any. Like, I still have stuff from the last 2 years sitting around.
Yeah.
But yet, if I start watching it, I'm going to get that itch, and I'm going to be like, maybe I'll just get one box. Just one box. Here's just one blaster.
If you don't buy it today, you're really not going to get any sales on it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Except for the occasional hit out of it, you know?
Right.
A couple inserts and a couple hot rookies, you might still get a couple sales.
Now,
but
they are putting 2 1952 mantles in packs, which is pretty interesting. But what a lottery ticket, though, right? I mean, that's Can you imagine how much of this product they're making if it's worth it for them to stick a 1952 mantle in a pack? It's got to be a lot of printed material.
Oh yeah. I do like the design, though.
I agree. I do like it too. I like the you know, uniform stitch look to it. They've done that in, you know, lots of products have done that over the years, and they tend to be my more favorite products.
Yeah.
One it kind of reminds me of do you remember Upper Deck Patch, UD Patch? It was like 2003.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
And they made like actual patch cards. Those were pretty sweet. It'd be nice to see a little bit more creativity in some of the products. Get back to more 90s and early 2000s stuff and have some fun with it. So hopefully they'll find the freedom to do that once, you know, all this licensing stuff is turned over. But
I mean, the set's nice, but I mean, that's really collector talk, and that's not really what we're here for. As a reseller, to your point, I think there's a couple of pluses to it. One, you know, there's the hype of release day. You're right. You're going to get the most sales there. But at least what it does have going for it is the flagship rookies are, you know, if not Chrome, the flagship based paper are the rookies people look to collect long term. So there's usually a market there, especially as some of those rookies start to pan out and people start looking for those cards again.
Yeah, the only downside is when the rookies don't pan out.
Yeah, and there's lots of those.
Yeah, last year there wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know, versus 2024 was amazing, but 2025 didn't really.
And baseball is tough because there's an extended growth curve, right? So you start talking about some of these hot prospects in the minors and you're watching them, and then they finally get called up. It may still take 3 years before you really know what you got. You know, there's been ups and downs with guys like Corbin Carroll yet. He was a rookie of the year, right? Then last year he kind of cooled off again, and Now you're wondering which Corbin Carroll are we going to see this year, right? Especially now that he's got the broken hammock bone with Lindor and Jackson Holiday. Not what?
Yeah.
Wait, no, was it Corbin Carroll? That's the other one. There's three of them that got announced today. I personally think that is a nice way for the teams to say, yeah, we don't really want them to play in the WBC.
Yeah, I mean it could be. I don't that tournament stuff. I'm kind of like whatever. I mean, I would rather not have my pitchers in it. I don't really care if my hitters are in it, but I would not want my pitchers pitching those tournaments.
They're so strictly controlled. They're just ramping up basically like they would in spring training.
Yeah, it's just practice.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them being in it, but I do watch the WBC. I do enjoy it. It's kind of like when they first brought AL-NL matchups back in the regular season, right? Like there's matchups you don't really get to see too often. Like we got to see Trout face Ohtani a couple years ago before he went to the Dodgers, of course. And where else would you have been able to see that?
That's true.
Yeah. So there's some nice one-on-one matchups that people get a lot of joy out of. And I mean, it's the same vein as the Olympics, right? Like there's a little bit of rooting for your country in there. I think I often feel like other countries get more hyped for it than we do in the U.S.
Well, yeah, because we actually have, professional baseball season, if you will.
Yeah.
I would rather for tournaments like this, I'd rather see a bunch of the young guys up there. Early drafts, college kids, stuff like that. I think that's more. I get it. You put Ohtani in the lineup and you get more eyes. I understand the motivation behind it, but I mean, some of you, if you're old enough, might remember that in the Olympics you had to be an amateur. They didn't allow professionals in it. That was when the Dream Team came out, right? It was like 1992 or something was the first Olympics where you could be a professional athlete. And while that was amazing, like to see all those guys come together and play, it was also kind of lame, when you're beating teams by 40 some points. And
when it suddenly isn't competitive anymore, that is a downside to it.
So, but I get the argument. It's like, okay, well, all the skiers are going to be professional skiers, and they're right. They are. I mean, just because they don't have a Major League Baseball type season or type audience, they're, playing World Cup tournaments and, doing all that professionally skiing. They're just getting paid to ski year round.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a fair argument, but we don't see them year round. So it is special, it's like, I don't know. I just, it's nice for the guys who didn't quite have enough to play in the pros to have a chance, at some sort of, spectation. There's, somebody watching them play really at a high level without being necessarily a professional athlete. But I don't know. Especially in baseball, there's so many prospects. There's so many college kids who got signed, and you got tons of players there to choose from. You could make a team out of that. And
at the same time, though, don't you just want to see the super teams? You want to see the best of the best. U.S. athletes versus the best Russian athletes, right?
Not when it comes to
Rocky versus Drago.
I kind of don't. I like this. I think of like the 80s when you had, Mark McGuire on Team USA and, all these young guys that became superstars, right? But that was a way, like USA Baseball, I bought a bunch of Paul Skeens USA Team USA baseball cards from like, I don't know, what are they, 5 years ago or something now? It's crazy. And he's all like skinny and he looks like he's 18, and he has no livy done, all that kind of stuff. And I love those cards. Those cards to me are cool. Like Paul Skeens pitching in the World Baseball Classic now for Team USA. Don't really care. I don't know. I think it's more fun to give those kids a chance, see if they can do something with it.
I kind of talking back about the Olympics again. I have had a lot of fun with the not really shots, but there's been a lot of parodies of the like luge athletes and what is it, skeleton, all those single sled type sports. I think it started with Saturday Night Live. I don't know. I don't think you watch that too often, but they had a nice
No.
skit on the women's luge, and it was basically this gal that was terrified to go down the hill, and they would like distract her and push her down the hill, and basically she's like, you know, a corpse with the same shape and frame of me could do the same. But then the Olympics coverage actually picked it up and started really having fun with it.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm okay with those professional athletes being in the Olympics, because this is their one time where people are going to actually see what they do. Yeah, they can play in a luge, be in a luge World Cup every year, and these different tournaments or X Games even or something like that. But it's not the same as the Olympics, So
right.
That's different than the professional basketball player who's on the TV every day.
Yeah.
There's arguments to both sides. Like I see it both ways, because you're right. Like, okay, well, we want to, this is the best teams in the world competing. Well, the best teams in the world should have Steph Curry and LeBron James on them. How can you argue that?
Yeah.
They should have Victor Wembanyama playing for France. Like that's, you can't, how can you say, well, that's wrong? And it's not. It's just, I don't know. Those guys are already making a career and a living out of this. I always thought it was fun to see some of these other guys have a chance to do something with it.
I feel like it wasn't a level playing field for a lot of years, though, because weren't a lot of the international pros still being allowed to play in the Olympics? And, it would be true amateurs from the U.S. versus, some of the professional athletes in other countries.
Yeah, that I don't know. I thought it was an Olympics rule that if you were a professional in that sport, you couldn't play in the Olympics. But
yeah, and I think the definition of professional was kind of loosely applied somehow, because if you think back to like some of those basketball teams in past years, or even hockey, like I feel like that was part of the challenge the USA teams always had, is they were going up against truly better athletes in these other countries that were playing in their leagues and stuff. But, because our best were in our professional leagues, we weren't sending them.
How sweet was that Team USA hockey win in 1984, right?
It made it more special, yeah.
Because they weren't pro athletes, and we weren't supposed to beat the Russians, and
yeah.
I don't know. I just think the Olympics loses a little something. After the Dream Team, no one cares about the basketball team anymore, even though it is Shaq and LeBron and blah, blah, blah. No one cares.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I can't even tell you who's on the most recent squad.
No, because it's not special. And I think that's just where it kind of loses that part of it, versus, man, if you're into, figure skating, this is it. This is the show for you, right? You're gonna get your couples and your, individual skaters and all that on your TV, which you're never gonna see otherwise.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see both sides of the argument there. But definitely feel I would agree that the longer we've had professionals back in it, the less luster there is on it.
Yeah, and it complicates things for them too. You have your own seasons you got to be in. You got these injury risks. Like, I don't. It. I'm gonna put it like this. Have you seen a Pro Bowl in recent years?
Gosh, I stopped watching that a few years ago.
What a freaking waste of time.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's like MTV rocks rock and jock
Yeah.
football or something.
Yeah.
Which they should almost do that. Like throw some celebrities in there, a few musicians. Who cares? They're playing flag football.
Yeah.
Just give it up. Just end that event. No one cares.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of feel like that for some of those things. It's like, how hard are they really gonna play? Because they have their own things going on. Heck, in the NBA season, these players, they're by contract, they're only required to play a certain number of games a year. I'm sure you've heard this, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the NBA has the Players Association or whatever, I'm guessing, set this up, but you only have to play so many games. So these players have figured this out, over time, and they're like, oh, well, I only have to play like 65 of the 90 games or whatever. So they start like planning out when they're going to take games off because it reduces their injury risk, right?
Yeah.
They're going to get paid their contract amount, and it's smart on their part. Kind of think about it like an employer with PTO, right? You're going to make sure you're going to get paid the same salary whether or not you take those PTO days. So you're going to plan out those days off, right? It's the same thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But now these like commentators and analysts and stuff, they're mad because they're like, well, these they're not even hurting, they're just not playing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's I don't know. That just seems like it makes sense. Preserve your body, and hey, I can sit out this game and I still get paid and I have no injury risk. I can rest up, like, makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish they would
that way.
Just be a little more honest about it. Like, it sounds like there's a lot of claims of injuries that are not necessarily injuries, these days, which I think tie into what you're saying.
And I think they kind of have to do that because to just sit out a game, they're going to get ridiculed for that. So they have to kind of be like, well, my ankle kind of hurts today, so I'm not going to play. Like, I don't know. But, do workers with regular jobs, do they call in sick when they're not sick?
Some do, yeah.
I mean, they still have to show up to the game. Like, these guys can't just like take the day off and stay home in their jammies. They still got to go to the game. They're on the sidelines or whatever. So they're still going to work. They're just not, input into the game. And I guess if things, got out of hand or they really needed them, you could. But yeah, I think we're going to start seeing more professional sports players agreements putting this stuff in. Mm-hmm. Think about the NFL. They keep on extending the season, right? Add another game, add another game, add another game. You're going to get these players that are eventually going to be like, okay, well, we want 3 games a season we don't have to play for any reason, and we still get paid. Well, I guess maybe that's not as good an example with the NFL because every game does matter so much in the standings, but you're playing like a really good team or a non-divisional team or something like that, and you're like, I'm just not, I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm just not going to play today because I have these 3 games in my contract where I don't have to show up. Like, I mean, I don't know. It could be really detrimental to some sports. I could see it big time in baseball because baseball is so many games,
Right.
But I don't know. I don't fault the athletes either. They're looking out for themselves. It used to be. It's kind of the way employment has gone into in this country and in most directions. The employees have more say now, and they're starting to write more rules of, well, you know what, I want this. I need this for me. And players associations are doing that too. They're speaking up more and they're saying, no, we want pensions when we're done, and we want all this stuff, and this is part of it. They're starting to go, you want these longer seasons, you're demanding more appearances out of me, whatever the case may be. Great, then I'm taking 2 games off this year that you can't stop, and I don't
Sure.
have to be hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Things are changing.
Yeah. Should we hit some chat for a little bit here?
Yeah, we can do a little bit of that. Let's see here.
We're
Who's first
51
in
minutes in.
today? Bill Simus is here. What's
Bill's
up?
That's the Super Bowl commercial we needed. We needed a "What's up."
Did
And
they have one? I thought they were going to
No.
have another one.
There wasn't one. So that and the frogs would be cool. Budweiser frogs,
Yeah.
those were fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Super Bowl advertising's not what it once was. I don't think a lot of people just sit down and watch the game. I don't know. Super Bowl's weird now, I feel like. I think people like maybe watch a little bit of it, check some highlights out later, and it doesn't seem as solid a viewing as it once was.
It kind of caught my attention that more companies were releasing commercials prior to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right.
They're like,
But
no, I'm not paying $30 million for that 30 seconds. I'll just put it out a couple weeks before and, pay half that.
Well, that's what's funny. Some of the commercials, like, it's getting cheaper. There were some of the commercials that were under $8 million for their spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's really cheap. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's cheap. But I think that's what they're realizing. Like, hey, we can get this in front of just enough people, as many people, without having to put it on the game. We can put it on our social media. We can put it on YouTube. We can, there's all these other places which virtually cost you nothing. And their viewing audiences are getting close to the size of the viewing audience for the actual game. So I don't know. It could get different. It could get weird in the near future with, that type of
weird,
advertising.
Man.
Yeah. All right. Who else is in here?
Let's see. Boomslang is here. Yo.
We got our 3 Yo's. Good job.
There you go. Did you even start the show off with that?
Yo. Welcome back to the live with Charlie and the Goats. We came in a little extra late this time. So I skipped some normal intro activity, but you're right. It was necessary.
But hey, you can see me this week. So the delay was worth it. Yeah.
That's true.
And I don't even have the permanent fix in. There was a little delay in shipping the new webcam I have coming, and it won't be here till tomorrow, of course. I couldn't be here today. It has to be the day after the show. So I went retro, and I got the camera going just like the old days.
Nice.
Or for Adam, just like today.
Yep. I used the phone. You said camera. You're using a phone?
Oh, yeah, I said camera. I meant the camera phone, right?
Yep.
Which, I mean, it works great. So I'm kind of excited to get the new webcam because it's got the same type of technology that works off the phone. And I can make sure that it doesn't try to auto-adjust the focus with the light all the time. So
yeah, your lighting is much better this week. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The trick was this onboard webcam on my laptop is not adjustable, and it has dynamic focus on it. So it was trying to focus on like the light behind me and things like that, and then I would fade into the darkness. But yeah, the new one should be good to go. It also positions me for a new monitor that I've been lining up for a while. I'm going ultra wide, Adam.
Sounds good.
Yeah, gonna get off the laptop screen and the extra external monitor. I'll have so much more desktop room.
That sounds great.
Yeah. What else we got? Boomslang says pro athletes can play in the Olympics. Yeah, we were referring to the old days before they were welcomed in, and talking about the differences then. Which,
Yeah,
said what? That was like 92, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I think I
1980.
was.
Yeah, 92. Yep, because that was
Yeah,
the Dream Team was the first all pro athlete, major sport compiled team, I guess.
right.
Um, some of those guys had played in Olympics previously, but it was before they were pros.
Right.
So like in college, like I think Larry Bird played for Team USA when he was still in college,
Could have been.
Indiana, something like that. So
Oh, so
you'd seen some of them, outside of the pro days, but yeah, that was the first Olympics where pros were allowed in.
So who all was on that dream team? Of course, there was Jordan, there was
Mm-hmm.
Bird. I
Yep.
think Patrick Ewing was on that team.
Yep. Pippen,
Pippen.
Barkley,
Yeah, Barkley.
Olajuwon,
I think he might have been.
I
Yeah.
think. Stockton.
Yep, Stockton was there.
Malone, was Malone in it? I think
Karl
so.
Malone. I think he was. I think I have a framed picture of that squad here on the other side of the room. But I haven't looked at it in a while to refresh my memory on who all was in there. I think we got most of them, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I'm
But
sure the chat will chime in with anybody we missed.
I'm sure they will, and that's perfectly fine.
Lofi Joe is here. He says, I remember the endorsement issues with the original Dream Team. Jordan was Nike, but Reebok was the team sponsor.
Yeah, you will never ever, for the rest of his life, see Jordan in anything but Nike.
He makes too much money off of that deal.
Yeah, it's quite a meal ticket. I don't think he would ever.
Yeah.
He would ever throw that away. But
don't want to jeopardize that.
Yeah, and I get Nike's position on that, but honestly, if Team USA was going with Reebok and that was the deal, tough noogies. You have Jordan wear the shoes or something, that's fine. But if your jerseys are, Reebok, then he's wearing a Reebok jersey. Like, you have to just kind of let some things go. He was still going to make Nike plenty of money no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know. I see both sides of it. I'm sure it was kind of a tough decision, but
yeah.
Did it help the Nike brand by doing that? I think it kind of did, right? It made it even more exclusive.
That's my point.
Right?
Like that's why I don't think it should really matter, because your athlete's still, I mean, he's going to win a gold medal. You can have him take all his Nike pictures with the gold medal after, and
yeah,
because obviously Reebok doesn't, license the gold medal or anything, and I don't know. I feel like you could get enough Nike out of it where it doesn't really matter what he wears during the game. But
yeah, that still goes on today, though, right? Like, if a player wears a different shoe deal than the team has or something like that, they have to cover some of the logos or something, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, and shoes are different, right? Like, that's footwear. It's not uniform, but when Team USA gets their jerseys to wear, like, they all have to wear the same thing. It doesn't matter what company. That's something where licensing is not, you can't really fight that battle. You have to wear the uniform.
And the warm-ups and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when Jordan was playing, let's say he was playing for the Bulls, and the Bulls, had Champion as their,
jersey maker.
Yeah, like, he wore a Champion jersey. Like, so what? Who cares? Know?
Well, he was a champion.
Right. And he still wore, Air Jordan shoes, of course. I mean, that was his. That was
I've heard
honestly, Jordan really wouldn't have any money right now if he didn't have Nike.
Yeah, probably.
Because he didn't get paid very much in those years, and he liked to spend and bet and do all those things, which I don't condemn anybody for that. If you got the money, you do whatever the hell you want with it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think he'd be pretty broke if he didn't have the Jumpman.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good bet. Speaking of gambling.
Yeah. when you have your, he had a fairly long career in basketball, right? But how many years has he been retired now? 20? 25?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, think about how much money that dude spent in the last 25 years. You know, if he didn't have shoe money, it'd be pretty rough. No, he still could have gone out and done. He could still do like McDonald's commercials today, or you know, because he's that premier of an athlete.
Mhm.
But to just like sit at home and collect a check, that's Nike money that does that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're still selling 35 different varieties of his shoe every year. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
So, and I have a bunch of them. I have 30 some pairs of Jordans and I love them.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And Boomswang says he had to take off the Nike logo, right?
Yes, he did.
It was a thing.
Yep.
Wolfie Joe, I think I remember this. They draped a U.S. flag on his shoulder for the team photos. He says.
Yeah, they just covered up the logo basically with the flag, which was a smart move. That's a smart move because no one's going to condemn you for using flag in your photo when it's Team USA.
Yeah.
Like that's probably an acceptable, like versus throwing a towel over your shoulder or something, you know, probably wouldn't have been as, I don't know. I don't know. These companies and their money, I don't know. They just need to get over themselves a little bit.
They don't have enough, Adam. They
I
just
guess
don't have enough.
no one's ever got enough. You gotta have more money. I don't get
Right. Wolfie Joe, then I think he's switching to the Star Wars discussion. He says they went all Roger Rabbit like Disney and Warner Brothers did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, if he's referring to Disney, yeah, I don't know. I just don't. Most of Disney's decisions, I haven't really agreed with.
Yeah.
At least coming on the Star Wars side. The rest of it, like everything else that they do, I don't really care about. But they kind of wrecked my Star Wars.
Yeah, I can tell. You're really down on it.
Well, you know, I got excited for the sequel movies and stuff, and Force Awakens came out, and it was fun, right? It was a nostalgia kick. It was to get the original trilogy people back in it. You know, you got Han Solo back, and you got Carrie Fisher, got Chewbacca back, and all that.
Yeah.
Great, nothing wrong with that. A little fan service just to get people back in it, you know, and then go make some new movies. And then the new movies were just terrible. So I don't know. That just lost it for me right there. I'm like, man, they don't even know how to make a Star Wars movie, and they spent $5 billion on something they don't know anything about. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I hear George Lucas is trying to buy it back.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before. I haven't really seen any news on it.
Because he still makes money off some Star Wars stuff, I guess. He had kept some rights to different things, and those things have still been making money, and so, you know, maybe he'll have enough at some point to buy it back. I don't know. I don't know why you'd sell something like that in the first place. I get the money part, but
it was a lot of money, right?
It was a lot, but he's never going to spend all that money. Who cares? Who cares if you got $100 million? You throw away everything you created so you can give your kids money. Like, I don't know. I don't agree with that. More to life than money.
I think one of the things I learned in life so far is the more money you make, the more ways you find to spend it. So that's usually not a problem.
Right. But I mean, $5 billion. He's never going to spend $5 billion. They don't make enough flannel shirts for that dude to spend $5 billion.
I mean, that might be a dozen eggs at some point. I don't know.
And then, you know, he got married to somebody who's wealthy besides. It's like, what you know, you could have kept Star Wars. Like, that's one of the greatest properties in the entire world. Like, what are you doing? License it to Disney, you know, do something with them. Fine. You know, if you want some Disney money, but I don't know, selling it out didn't make any sense to me.
He needed something new, Adam. Sometimes people just need a change.
And then he didn't do anything. So what's the point?
You have not seen his new rock collection. He was enjoying retirement.
$5 billion worth of rocks.
Bill says, how often do you change your coupon code? Hey, a card question.
Ah, right. Yeah, we
How
should
often do you-
probably talk some cards, I guess.
Is that what this show's about? I don't know. I
Not
thought it was just a
tonight.
pop culture show.
Not tonight.
How often do you change your coupon code, or do you usually use the same coupon to repeat buyers, or so repeat buyers start to remember it and come back?
I don't change my coupon code.
Never, ever, ever?
I mean, probably the first few that I did, yes, but I haven't changed it in probably a couple of years.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
How long do you just set a really long time for each one to run? Like, what's the max on it? I don't even know.
5 years, I think.
Oh, you can go that far?
I believe so, yeah.
I would have, off the top of my head, I would have guessed a year, but I never tried to go that far.
I mean, I guess you might be right. I'm pretty sure I saw that it was longer than that, but I usually set mine like a year at a time, and then I just extend it.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know when I was doing them quarterly, but I was creating a whole new coupon every one because I would change the code to the, like, I don't know, a theme, whatever.
Yeah, a season or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine, I just run it continually, so I just keep the same code. Make it easy.
Okay. Yeah, that does make it easy. And essentially, your buyers are trained to know that coupon and always look to use that coupon.
Yeah, that's consistency. That's what I was going for.
Designated Heckler is here. With regard to players skipping games when healthy, is that like you guys continually showing up with out, Javi, or no?
I mean, I guess he's right in that aspect. I would say that we're not getting paid the same, so we're not apples to apples here on this. But yeah, the thing is again, it's one of those things where I see both sides of it. I understand where the league is like, come on, you got to come play. We need cheeks in the seats, and they're coming to watch LeBron play, not his backup. But I also see the player side where they're like, man, I'm not playing 90 games a season. You keep extending it, and these guys are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and hitting the floor harder and harder and harder. I understand there's no defense in the NBA anymore, but still, I understand where they're coming from, where they're like, well, we're writing in days off and you can't stop us. What are you going to do? Tell them no? I mean, you're kind of stuck that way too. You can't, major sports that have had strikes, it hasn't ended real well for the leagues.
Yeah, it's also just the way our society is going, right? A bigger recognition of the value of those rest days and
mental days.
Yeah. I think you're just going to continue to see more and more of that.
I think where it's difficult is the fans that bought tickets.
Yeah. So I talked about this once before on the show. I remember when I was living in California, it was still in the Barry Bonds days when he was mashing homers all the time. And I remember buying a ticket to a Giants game, making the drive up to San Francisco, and he didn't play that day. And I was super bummed. And I'm still bummed to the day. I'm still sitting here saying, man, it's put all that effort into that day, and he didn't play.
Yeah.
And he was a healthy scratch. Like, there was nothing wrong with him. He just didn't play that day.
Yeah, and most sports that have a really long season will do that. Some of them have natural days off, right? Like, I mean, I want to see Ohtani pitch every game, but Ohtani's not going to pitch every game. Like,
right.
We just know that that's not how that works, and we're kind of okay with it. We hope when we buy a ticket, we get the rotation where it hits Ohtani. That'd be wonderful. And no disrespect to the other Dodgers pitchers by any means, but that's kind of how it is, And yeah, you're right. You could hit any game where somebody's not playing.
Yeah,
I think where it gets more difficult is the NFL.
Okay.
because they don't play that many games, but the games are physical. And tell me every one of these quarterbacks on these teams wouldn't take 3 games off if they could.
Yeah, I mean, they take a beating, right?
Yeah. So, maybe the other positions, it wouldn't be such a big deal. No one would really care. Maybe some running backs, maybe some wide receivers, but I think you start taking the quarterbacks out, giving the quarterback game days off. That'd be really tough for that league.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
But that's basically what they've done with preseason now. I mean, the starting players used to play preseason. None of them play anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you're paying these athletes what you can't afford any frivolous injuries, right? So that's how that's changed in the sport.
And the athletes are thinking more and more about their health and stuff too. It used to be, go as hard as you can, and when I'm 60 and I can't walk anymore, I'll deal with it then. And now, like, these players are like, no, I have a family and I have plans for after retirement of job things I wanted, and I still want to be walking when I'm 60. So they're starting to think more about it and fighting for more of their health protection.
Yeah, definitely. I think players today treat it more like a career versus back in the day. Professional athletes were like, I can't believe I get paid to do this.
Right.
So, yeah. Bill says, what about Christian Laettner? That's right. Laettner was on that team as well.
Fair. Yes, he was.
And Boomslang, while we're on that topic, says Mullins, David Robinson, and Magic. Yep.
That makes sense.
And I did, I saw that post coming, and I pulled up the roster. We got everybody but one player now, I think. So players we've mentioned: Jordan, Magic, Bird, Barkley, Armelo, Stockton, Pippen, Ewing, Robinson, Mullen, and Laettner. So there's one name I have not seen yet. Do you want it? You got it. Clyde the Glide. Yeah.
And I didn't look it up either. I pulled that straight out of the brain box.
Yeah. There you go.
That's pretty good.
And who is the head coach?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me this. My first guess would be Mike Krajewski or whatever.
He was an assistant on the squad.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. It's not Marv Levy. No, Marv Levy's football Adam.
Bill Simus got it right away.
Did he?
Chuck Daly.
Yeah.
The Motor City Madmen. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And Lenny Wilkins and PJ Carlson were the other assistants. Yeah.
Okay.
You just had to jog it out of there a little bit.
Yeah, it's not often that I have to recall the, coach of the dream team. Like, that's not a everyday situation.
We spent enough time on it. We may as well cover it fully.
Right. No, that's good.
Let's see here. Designated Heckler says, you guys are probably too young to remember 84 Summer Games. Russia boycotted. McDonald's had tickets like Monopoly Game that gave free food for USA wins. Pretty sure we ate there every day. USA dominated.
I do vaguely remember the McDonald's portion of it because I was a kid, so McDonald's was, serious business.
Yeah.
I don't remember Russia boycotting.
Oh yeah, yep, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't really remember that, but yeah, that I'm not surprised by that, but yeah, because I was Cold War and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. But I'm a number of years older than you too, so it's probably why I remember it more.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was only 6 in 1984, so a little tough to recall 6-year-old memories, on something like that. Like the McDonald's, I would remember. That's an important thing to a 6-year-old, but I don't remember the Russian portion of it.
You just remember there was a summer where you got a ton of French fries
I
You didn't
do.
know why,
Yeah,
but they just kept them coming.
it was glorious. USA, USA.
Yeah, very nice. Um, Bill says, I was thinking about adding my coupon code to my eBay banner.
That's an idea. I don't, because it's on every listing when someone clicks on it, and when they go to check out, it automatically gives them the code. They don't really need to know the code. As long as you have it set up, it's pretty easy to find. But what I do like about that idea is the way eBay has changed how they promote the code to the buyer, saying it's, oh, you get this right away. And then the people are like, well, how come I didn't get the code? Well, because you need to buy a certain number of cards or whatever the case may be.
Right.
You could more easily clarify that on your banner, saying, buy 10 cards, get 10 free, or buy
Yeah.
10 cards, get them half price, something like that. So you get less of those questions from buyers that are like, yeah, I tried to use your code and it doesn't work. Well, you only bought 2 cards, so no, it doesn't work.
You mean that buy 10, get 10 doesn't work if I only buy 2?
Yeah, because the way eBay promotes it now to the buyer when you look at the listing is it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
It just says, like, for example, let's say you're asking $4.99 for a card and your deal is half off.
It'll say
just
like
say
$2 with coupon.
Yeah, it'll say $2.50 with coupon. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, they don't explain what the coupon is until the buyer gets all the way into it. And I understand the strategy behind that. So instead of focusing on the quantity, you just focus on, oh man, you could get this thing really cheap, But then people don't pay attention. They don't read that it's only if you buy 10 cards.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, I have to imagine. I haven't been shopping for a while on eBay, but I have to imagine it. Then, let's say you click on that card and add it to your cart. I gotta think it must say something like, "Add 9 more to use your coupon" or something like that.
I would think so. Yeah, I haven't really bought on there recently either, but
Yeah.
and I don't get a lot of inquiries on the code, probably because again, a ton of my business is just repeat buyers anyway, and they know how to work the code works. But we've definitely seen that in the Discord where lots of sellers are getting the questions on it.
Yeah.
So it is confusing some buyers for sure.
So it's funny you mentioned the discussion in the Discord, because there's been so much chatter about that the last few weeks that I had a 9-card order this morning, and I don't run coupons anymore. I don't have any discounts going right now. But because of all the stuff I saw in the Discord, I immediately had this like moment of, I guess not panic, but anxiety of, oh great, am I going to get one of those messages now? Somebody, because they bought 9, they didn't buy 10, right? So I was like, am I going to get a message that says, hey, why didn't I get the discount? But I didn't. Instead, I got a item not received message.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be questioning you on that because you don't have an active code, so that they wouldn't be confused by the listing.
I know, but
advertising,
like I said, it was just because I was seeing so much chatter about it in the Discord that immediately that was my thought. Like,
sure.
9-card order is probably someone questioning about it. So, yeah. Designated Heckler says, have you guys heard anything more about quantity listings from CDP to eBay? They said it was coming soon.
Yeah, I believe you can do the quantity now.
I think so, yeah.
You have to, I might get this wrong because I haven't done it myself, but you have to do your scans, then you have to go to inventory management.
Yes.
And
it's
update
a pain in the arse.
And it's not called quantity. It's like number available or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it means the same thing, but we all see it as quantity, but it's a different column. I can't remember what it's called. Available? I think it might just be available, and then there's a number.
Yeah,
I don't have it up right now.
You're right. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I usually am.
That's what you tell yourself, yes.
You all heard it.
On hand, is it? So in
Ooh,
inventory,
that might be it. On hand
there's
might be
on
it.
hand. In
That's it.
listings, yeah, it's on hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that is the dumbest way to title that for quantity that I've ever seen. But
Yeah, and I won't use it again until it's in the primary listing app. You know, when I hit publish, if I can't have quantities there, I'm not going to go into my inventory again and go adjust it.
I agree. I don't do that at all anymore either. Not with a 24-hour scanner now. If I have 2 copies, I scan both of them and they each get listed individually.
Right.
I would love to get back to some quantity listing, but right now it's not my major concern. And you know, if I got spots to list 2 copies, I'll list 2 copies.
Yeah.
And let it go.
I mean, it's different too for me because I didn't have the success you had with multi-quantity listings. I would sell 2 cards here and there, maybe once or twice a month, but it wasn't a difference maker for me. So I don't really miss it. You know, if I was really getting a difference out of it, I would just take my stacks of quantity cards and just do a single eBay listing directly and still use it. But I just didn't see the lift out of it that I had hoped for.
And you know, I have a bunch of quantity listings, and when I downloaded them from eBay, they went up with the same amount of quantity.
Yeah,
that was fine. It's just new listings. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So, for example, I sold just like within 10 minutes ago, I sold 2 2012 Topps Tom Brady cards, 2 separate listings, and they both sold to one buyer. So I still sell quantity pretty regularly, but yeah, once they do it where I can do it in the actual Card Dealer Pro listing spreadsheet, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Then I'll do that. Then I'll start putting quantity in again.
And I still have. It's interesting because we're talking about this, and I just sold 2 copies of a card today, not as a quantity listing. So I mean, I still sell them in the same order. It hasn't really stopped them from going. I did enjoy the fact that the card that sold today was a 1988 Leaf Awesome All Stars Ugly Ursula. That was that 9 card order, and 2 of them were Ugly Ursula.
I mean, you can sell anything. I still make that argument of people that are like, well, I don't want to list any, this stuff. You should. If you got listings available, list stuff. The weirdest stuff sells.
I do still share that sentiment that there's a buyer for everything. It's just that some buyers take a lot longer to find, and I'm kind of navigating my way through that.
I mean, there's a lot of really nice Brady cards I've had listed for a while that I don't have a buyer for.
Fair.
And if you had a handful of Brady cards, you'd be like, well, absolutely, I'm going to list these. And then, you sell something like, I don't know, super random, not popular player type thing. Like I sold a Josh Gordon mini Topps Chrome Refractor today.
Yeah.
Do you remember who Josh Gordon was?
Yeah.
From the Browns, I think.
Yeah.
So that sold before some of the Brady stuff I've listed. Yeah. I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah.
I still believe that the most successful stores are going to be the ones that have something for anyone who walks in. So if I have someone come to my store and they want this random Vikings player from 1986, I should have one listed. That's my ultimate goal, is to have something for everyone. But it's a tall task in cards. I mean, there's trillions of cards out there, so
and
it's going to take it's good to have a goal that's like not. I mean, honestly, is it attainable? Not really.
Yeah.
You could have somebody walk in, with something very super random that you just never get a hold of, because you're not
Yeah.
going to search that out and buy it. Yeah, maybe if you stumble along it in a big lot you buy, you might get it listed, but some random common 1988 Topps card I'm not going to be searching for in value boxes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the vast majority of your concentration should be filling your store with like players that do sell regularly. But this still doesn't guarantee you a fast sale.
No, and that's the interesting thing about the card market, right? Like there's very rarely a sure thing. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like there should be, but you get surprised by cards' performance all the time. At least I do.
Especially when you're looking at the sports cards, because there's other variables to it. I mean, last year I was buying a bunch of Sam Darnold rookie cards out of quarter boxes because he was killing it with the Vikings. I had no idea he would go to the Seattle Seahawks this year and win a Super Bowl. Like, super unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
And then the ones that I didn't sell last year because, of course, the Vikings faltered, I now sold this year because he went all the way to the Super Bowl. So that could have worked out the other way where he didn't have a good season or nobody picked him up, and boom, now I'm sitting on those. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I used to do that when I first started. I used to go, well, which one should I list first? And I don't want to list cards that aren't going to sell, and I get picked. And then I just decided I'm just going to list as much stuff as I possibly can, and I should be able to find a buyer. Not for all the cards at one time, but I should be able to increase my number of buyers by having a variety, and that's what's worked. So that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess my approach was a little different in that initially I was listing pretty much everything. And then, I mean, the goal then was to establish a sizable inventory and build up feedback, build up the brand. But then there came a time where I wanted to shift gears for a while and change the tiers of my inventory. So I feel like I've got more than a fair share of floor inventory. So I want to direct my attention more to, some better tiers. That doesn't mean I'm not going to list more $1.99 stuff, but I'm listing less of it.
Well, and you're buying as you're not as desperate for inventory gets more focused too. You're not going to be looking for as many fringy type cards.
Yeah.
As you would have, a year ago when you didn't have anything in your store. And like I said, those unusual cards, like this Topps Chrome Josh Gordon rookie refractor card that I just sold or whatever, that came out of a dealer buyout, a 50-cent box dealer buyout. So it wasn't a card I picked out. I probably paid, I don't know, 6 or 7 cents for it, something like that. Very low investment. It is a rookie card. It is a refractor. Like there's some bonus points to it. That makes it make more sense listing it. But honestly, it has no business selling over a Tom Brady card.
Right. Right.
But we have all kinds of different buyers. I mean, here's the last 5 cards that I sold. A 1973 Topps Wacky Packages Cracola Crayons sticker card.
Makes sense.
Yeah. 93 Topps Jurassic Park Lexi card, the young girl in the movie.
Okay. That's a little more niche.
Yeah. The Josh Gordon rookie mini chrome. A Danica Patrick cracked ice Stuart Haas racing card.
That's not surprising.
It is because it's been listed for almost 2 years. So,
did you end up taking an offer on it, or did it sell outright?
It was $4.99. I took $4.
Okay.
Yeah. And I probably paid, I don't know, 50 cents, maybe $1. I don't know.
Yeah.
Brockham Rock Cards Megadeth sticker card, The
That
Birth
makes
of
sense.
Vic,
It's one
which
of
I
the better
bought like
ones in there.
I bought like thousands of those when we were at the National last year.
Yeah.
So my point is, you just don't know what's going to sell. You know, you have to kind of got to try some different things, and
Yeah.
there's going to be your things that you sell
Yeah.
that you're just going to keep diving into, certain players, certain teams, whatever. But
Yeah. At the same time, I don't think you would, if you've got a card, maybe you sell a copy every 2 years, you wouldn't go out there and buy a stack of those cards, right?
no, but if I found another Danica Patrick cracked ice card in a quarter 50-cent box, I'd buy it again.
Yeah.
Because here's the way I look at it. I don't really care how long it sits in my store. I know that like drives all you guys nuts. I get it. And I don't like it. I would love to have everything sell tomorrow. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a race to the most listings, but when I don't look at it that way. So I look at that card, that Danica Patrick card. I look at that as a profitable card when I bought it at a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew eventually I would get the profit out of it. And that's good enough for me to buy it and list it.
Yeah. I think technically an accountant would try to have you put inventory holding costs on that would limit your profitability, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And again, no guarantee. I could have sold that card in 3 days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I bought it going, well, I'll hold on to this for 2 years. Like that wasn't the plan either.
Yeah.
But that's just how unpredictable that it is,
Yeah.
And I sell like 0 NASCAR cards, as you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not the right market, necessarily the right store to be selling that anyway, versus buying a handful of Favre cards makes a lot of sense for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not like searching out Danica Patrick cards at all, ever.
Yeah.
But I find a nice Prism cracked ice card, quarter 50-cent box. I'm buying it again.
Yeah.
Absolutely I would. Has enough bonus points for me. It's a good brand. It's a nice parallel. It's a driver people buy and know. Female athlete usually has some bonus points to it. The known ones anyway. So that's what that's how I focus on it when I'm like buying.
Yeah.
Which is when you make the money.
And you brought up a really good point I want to expand on a little bit too. You said, I'm not a real NASCAR focused seller. And it reminded me of the conversation in the Discord today. We had a good conversation between a soccer seller and Stu. That was kind of the point that Stu was trying to make, is that we had a seller that has built a pretty strong business around soccer. And it absolutely makes sense for that seller to buy more soccer than the average seller who isn't specialized in soccer. So Adam, you and I are a great example of that. You sell much more soccer than I do. You have much more soccer than I do in my store. You and I could go to a show right now, and let's say by some magic feat, a dealer had 2 boxes with identical cards in it, and you and I both get the same 50 soccer cards. We will not sell them the same.
Right.
And that was the point today, is that you have to think about your specialization as well when you're buying. Mm-hmm. Everybody can't buy the same things and expect the same results. Right. So the message today in the Discord from Stu was, hey, for general sellers, the soccer market has some limitations. Yes, it's a global sport, and you want to think that everybody should be able to sell soccer cards like gangbusters, but the market doesn't really work like that. Same with NASCAR. I went heavy on NASCAR like a year ago thinking, gosh, this is This is an American market. People, the people that follow NASCAR swear by it, and they plan their whole weekend around it. And it's a pretty low entry point for people to dabble in that market. Well, it turns out it's not that easy to sell NASCAR cards. There's a certain infrastructure that, as a seller, I think gives you an edge in certain markets. And if you don't have that as a seller, you can't expect to just go out and buy a monster box of that category of cards, and they're going to sell like gangbusters.
Well, and just because somebody likes NASCAR doesn't mean they're going to collect cards.
Absolutely.
So the fan base itself, especially something like that where cards don't have a prolific history like baseball or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of those fans. They collect, cars and different things like that. So, jackets. They all buy the jackets with their team names on them and stuff.
But soccer fans probably spend more money collecting collectible pints.
Right, correct. Actually, your biggest competition for soccer is stickers.
Okay.
That's where most of the money goes for, and I showed you my sticker album from, when I was in Holland and stuff.
Yeah.
The sticker collecting that's where Europeans had, collected for soccer forever, and they're just getting to the cards now.
I think if I go back and look at all my soccer sales over the past 2 years, I would bet that I have sold more of the Panini stickers than I have the actual cards.
Yeah, and I spent a lot of time this past national. Remember in that one dime box with all the World Cup sticker cards and stickers and stuff, Panini stickers. I don't know if you remember that, but
yeah, I do.
Spent a lot of time. First of all, you can get a ton of them because they're real thin when you're filling a box. But I knew like that's not something I see very often, and I know that where if it's an NFL sticker, might not be as big and might not sell as fast. But I know the soccer ones will. Like that's the big market.
Yeah.
Over there for soccer collectibles, which is ironic because I like the football sticker packs, and actually football is an American football, and I sell a ton of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, like who's putting these albums together for American football stickers. But they go, I wish I could find more. This year I've struggled finding those packs. Unfortunately, last year I was able to get a couple boxes of them, but
yeah. Speaking of international buyers, I had a couple of things occur in the past week. One, I had I think I was still working with this one on last week's show, and I might have mentioned it, but I had a soccer card buyer in Spain that selected a card. But didn't pay because once they saw the export fees, they're like, this doesn't make sense anymore. But then I also sold a card to Australia, not one of our regular watchers here from Australia, but made me realize I don't see them in here tonight.
Yeah.
Must be some special events.
Maybe a little bit later. Yeah, who knows? It's like morning for that. It's morning for them tomorrow, so.
Right.
Might have just been busy with things, which is to be expected from time to time. But yeah, and I think that's where soccer is a good play because I think we forget that there's more markets than just America. And soccer kind of is our reminder of that in most cases. So yeah, if you're looking to get a true international buying base. I think it would be better if there were less taxes and import fees and tariffs or whatever. If that could get reduced, I think we could get a bigger customer base overseas. But right now, that definitely hurts it.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that.
And what is the one thing that's annoying with eBay is, let's say you have an international customer that wants to buy 4 cards. They charge them full shipping on each card.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that in the Discord this week too.
Yeah, and I've been dealing with that for a few years. I put the feedback into eBay about a year ago. So maybe I should do it again. But once in a while, I'll get messages from a buyer that are like, "Hey, can you take all 3 of these cards and list them as a lot so I can pay 1 shipping fee?" And so I do that, but it's like, man, what a pain for me. Like, you could just let them add 3 to their cart and check out and pay shipping like any place else does, but they want to rack them on full shipping on each card.
Yep. Yeah,
crazy.
That is unfortunate. It would be nice if they could just put a bunch of stuff in the cart. Now, they did work around that with a multi-card listing eventually.
They did.
I don't know if you saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's what I have to do. I essentially
work for sellers. Yeah.
Right. I essentially have to go create a listing, and it's like, why should I have to do that when it's already there? They can just add it to a cart and check out.
Right.
And pay 1 shipping fee. Like, I don't understand why that's so complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you had a bunch of different items of different weights or something, that might be harder, but as long as it's under that 6 ounces or 7 ounces or whatever is the required weight for an international first charge package or whatever the cheapest package amount is, they should let you add up to that many cards for that price. It makes no sense, but
right.
Anyway.
Speaking of the devil, Susie is here. Good day, guys. Sorry for the lateness.
There you go. Welcome. She was busy scanning since Car Dealer Pro works there now.
Yeah, there you go. Bill had a question too. Why no more coupons? So that's clearly pointed at me since you're still running coupons. For me, it's a temporary adjustment as I'm level setting some things. So I want to adjust some sales trends. And to do that appropriately, I need some clean sales. Right now, I've shifted to focus for a while on average order value and throughput. So obviously, coupons have an impact on both of those things. So I needed to level set to see where I was truly at right now before I put them back in. I do intend to have coupons back in. It's going to be a little more selective than I did in the past. I'll run them on everything under $4.99 in my store. Whereas in the past, I really didn't have any restrictions. I just had a max savings on them of like $100. Yeah, those will be back eventually. I just needed some time to do some clean assessments, and coupons make a little bit of noise when you're trying to do that, because basically you're subsidizing sales. So that's why we're not running coupons right now in my store.
I like coupons.
You know who never runs coupons?
Who?
Nike.
Yes, they do.
Nike does not run coupons.
Are you a Nike Plus member?
No, I am not. So they do stuff for the exclusive club. Yeah.
Which is free to join, by the way. So yeah, I've gotten some pretty good deals from Nike. They kind of think about it this way. It's kind of like our coupon, right? Like we send our coupons out, and it's really like our, special customer base that really gets notified of that. Yeah, you can have a random shopper, stumble upon it and use the coupon, which is fine. But we're really creating it, as a better experience for our regular buyers. At least that's how I see it.
That's where I see most of the use come from.
It's mostly
when I send it out in the newsletter.
Yeah. So I mean, I should bring this up too. Maybe I'll put it in a video. But I had a buyer the other day, because when I go to do my labels, I click on the buyer. Let me see if I got one right now. I click on the buyer, especially if it says like repeat buyer, and I look at how many orders have they had, how many items have they ordered, and what is the total sales amount. I don't know if you ever do that for a specific buyer, but
yeah, I do look at the past history of that buyer.
Okay, so I do that, and I kid you not, I had a buyer the other day, and of course now I don't have any big ones on here, but I had a buyer who had like 70 some orders from me. And I think that, is it over the whole time or is it in the last year, or
I don't know.
how do they calculate that? I don't know. But it was like 70 some orders for like $2,500.
Okay.
So to me, I'm like, I'm glad that I'm rewarding that buyer, and I know when I get more stuff, they'll be back to buy more. So I feel like I'm gonna get the money from them anyway.
Yeah.
As long as I keep rewarding them to come back as well. So to me, turning coupons off would be in my current state, or what I'm trying to do, would be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Where you're at,
So,
for sure.
because they might then buy from somebody else who is doing a coupon, and now they're there. Customers are fickle,
Yeah.
and they'll go to wherever they can get like, they keep coming back to me to buy from me because it's consistent. They know when they get here they can get whatever deal they need to get to make it worth it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just different ways to try to do different things, and I have so much inventory, it really doesn't matter. I can sell 1,000 cards today on half price, and it doesn't even cut a dent.
Right.
So
Now, where
I'm
it does
looking
make a
more for
dent-
volume.
Where it does make a dent is how much time you have to put into it shipping.
It does, but
Yeah.
I can pull the cards relatively quickly, 10 to 15 seconds per card. Sometimes a little longer, depending on the situation, but
Assuming you can find it on the first try.
most of the 99% of the time I can.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen my videos, like it goes pretty quick. I can pull 10 cards in, I don't know, less than 2 minutes, I would say, in most cases.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of times my orders are way bigger than that.
Yeah.
So that coupon is just like the minimum enticement, and then you end up selling like 60 cards instead. Well,
Yep.
I don't care if it takes me a while to pull 60 cards. I want a 60 card order.
Yeah.
I want that. That's a good investment of my time, to fill an order, versus one single card at a time.
If your systems are built to optimize on that, like yours are, if
Yeah.
you're a newer seller and you put in a coupon and you went from selling, a handful of cards a week to 60 to 100 a day, you're going to struggle initially.
Yeah, that's not something you want to do from day one. I would agree with that.
Yeah. And in my case, I'm also trying to optimize the labor per order as well and find the right sweet spot for me too. I went through a tough year of, evening out all that labor with coaching and some other projects I had going on the side, and some things at work that were requiring more time. So I did hit a point this year where I was struggling for the time. So I had to figure out a way to basically economize that. How can I, here was my goal when I hit this year. How can I earn the same or more, but spend less time doing it?
Right.
So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, is I'm trying to optimize some more systems and, right size some things, but make no mistake, coupons will be back for me.
Yeah, they're just too important. And honestly, at this point, and I think we even had this debate on Discord the other day. By the way, Discord code on the bottom there. Jump in. We had a bunch of new members this week, which was good. But there's been more talk about that the fact that coupons are more valuable than promotions are now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was one of the ones who actually said coupon. When somebody asked questions, I said coupons for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have said that, a year ago. I would have said promotions were the bigger driver.
We definitely pushed promoting last year. And the year before, it was kind of the end of 2024 when we started really talking about pushing that a lot in our stores. But you got to think about what was the reason for that. We were pushing a growth mode yet, So we
Right.
were pulling every lever we could to maximize growth, while monitoring what's the impact on our cost of goods sold for all the eBay fees, right? So that's where we hit a point where we said, okay, we saw some growth, but the chunk eBay was taking for that didn't necessarily equate to what we wanted, I think. So
Yeah, I cut mine way back.
yeah.
I
Yep.
still do some because I feel like a couple percent is still worth it to gain some competitive advantage. Because if I were to go and do my own advertising to try to get ahead of the competition, it would be easily more than a couple percent. So that's how I view that. I feel like there's still value in that. And I do still get some sales that are promoted, but it doesn't really impact my sales totals as much because let's say I sell 100 cards today, 80 of them will be not promoted, as the sales result. So it still just gives me that little extra percentage of, moving some cards and
It does.
paying eBay to advertise for me.
But you probably want to be a little selective on what you're doing that for. What do you need help getting eyes on? Make sure you're defining what's the problem I'm trying to solve by adding a promotion. Don't just add a promotion for the sake of adding a promotion.
No, and to me, the biggest thing is to not promote right away. So if I'm listing the card today, I'm not going to promote it today. So I will list cards and, they'll be out there for a month, ish. And if I don't have a sale, then I'm fine with adding a couple percent promotion onto it to help it move. Because as much as I like to have my store full and lots of listings, I want the sales more than I want anything else.
Right.
So as far as the listing portion goes and maximizing it out, first of all, you pay for all those listings, whether you use them or not. Okay. So you pay $60 a month for essentially 60,000 listings. So if you hit that number, you're paying, what is that? 1/10 of a penny per listing, something like that.
Yeah.
60,000 listings at $60. So I want that. I'm spending that money. I want that position, that I'm paying for to be filled. And I kind of look at it like, if you had a brick and mortar store, right? You pay for that space, whatever you've got in your store, you're paying for it, whether you got something there or not. Do you want to walk around your store and you got a bunch of empty shelves? I don't.
There's two sides to that argument though, Adam, I think. And the other side has been kind of where my focus has been lately is because your space is finite, there's a premium to the space you have available. So do you want to fill it with the lowest value items, or do you want to have some better items in there if you're going to use that space?
Well, just because an item sells for more doesn't make it a better item either, though.
It does if it actually does sell.
Correct, but that's the problem. You don't know what's gonna. I just gave you examples of things that most people wouldn't even list.
Yeah,
and those are my last 5 sales. So I don't think it's that easy. What we do is not that easy. There's just so much
Agreed.
to the market. There's so many different buyers. I think the biggest thing is to, once you get established and you're past kind of extreme growth mode, if you will, is you need to understand your customers and then make sure you have the things that your customers buy. So I will buy all the Cowboys cards. I will buy, I have a big non-sport following, where I can turn cards easily. You just have to get, I don't know. I wish there was like an answer. I'm kind of glad there isn't, because this would be boring as hell if there was like just buy this and it sells for this, and then everybody would do it and there'd be no profit in it, right? It would get cut down so much because it's easy.
Right.
I don't know. Like a car. Here's an example. Let me ask you this. Oh crap! Now I dropped it. Of course. A Bernie Williams score rookie card. Do you list that?
I used to. I probably wouldn't today.
And why not?
Because it would be below my floor of $4.99 and steady volume.
Okay, so what are you going to list instead?
I will probably list more higher premium rookies, some prospects that are going right now, or some desirable inserts, something like that. Chrome cards.
And what if you don't have any of those to list?
Well, that never happens because we're always buying.
Yeah, but are you always buying cards that sell for $4.99 with margin?
The intent is to do that, yeah.
Okay.
Hence why I say, like, I still list some $1.99 cards because sometimes I miss the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I wouldn't intentionally look for a Bernie Williams rookie. Now, I know that Yankee fans love Bernie Williams, and there are a good chunk of buyers there. But outside of Yankees fans, it's not as big a market as more global names, right? Like,
yeah,
there are certain guys that it doesn't matter where they're from, they buy them. Like, I look at where the buyer's from all the time on my orders because I use a lot of my liquidation cards, junk wax and stuff like that, as kind of fillers and card protectors. I'll throw a couple extras around it. So I usually look for like team fans, right? Oh, it's a Nolan Ryan fan who is in Texas. I'll give him more of that team's cards. But there's a lot of names where it's like someone on the other side of the country buying, Nolan Ryan or, whatever. So that's what I mean by global names. Like it's not just fans of that team that buy it.
And that's why I chose this card, because I'm not going to make a ton of money on this card. Now my margins on it are good, but dollar wise, you're not. So you're focusing more on the dollar than the margin side, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I look at it like this is one in a stack of 10 or 20 cards I'm going to sell to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make my 20 or 30 bucks on that order. Not that particular card on its own, but I'm still getting the margins and getting a bigger sale that way. So it's just a different way to do it, really.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because my average sale, like per card, is still like that $3.50 odd cents, which I don't think is terrible.
Yeah.
But my average order size is quite a bit bigger than that. It's $15 to $20 now.
And I will tell you, since the first of the year, I've seen my average order value go up significantly with the changes I made too. So to your point, they're just different ways of doing the same thing.
But you're selling less cards though too.
Technically I'm selling the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was going to be my last point on the promotions. So I shut off everything the first of the year to see what would happen, and it hasn't affected anything at all, other than I'm keeping more.
Right. Mine hasn't changed much either. I do see a few sales through promotion. I guess now you don't technically know if it's from the person who actually clicked on it anyway.
Sure, it's carryover stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like 2% here or 2% there is not. It doesn't really. If it helps me get a couple of sales, I feel like it's worth it. Sure. Yeah. And the vast majority aren't selling as a promoted item anyway. So
yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. And honestly, I think it's probably better for our Discord group and our folks that watch on here when we do things a little differently, because it does give them different options to look at, and probably a little more engaging for them than us just looking at each other and always saying, yep, that's what I do.
Right.
So I kind of enjoy that we're diverging a little bit, because I think it makes for better conversation for us and with the chat as well.
Yeah, I agree. And, again, one of the reasons we started this show was I was the old grizzled vet and you were the rookie. And how are you going to bring something new to the table? And how am I going to say, that's been tried. You can't do that. Yeah. And that's kind of still where we have some stance. Like, my store size is different than yours, and my customer base is different than yours, and I need to do things differently to fit that, and you need to do things differently to fit,
Yeah.
your business model. So,
And I think that's the biggest thing that I've gone through in the last year is, even though we've always talked about, hey, what works for me might not work for you, and we've talked about everybody having to do what's right for their model, I feel like it's in the last year that I really saw it in practice to say, look, I can do everything Adam does. Doesn't mean I'm going to get Adam's results. Right? Like I have a unique opportunity that we're close by each other. We work together frequently. Like I see inside your operation a lot more than most. Like I literally could do most of what you're doing to a smaller scale, right? But it wouldn't work for me right now because I don't have all the pieces that you have, and they're not all pieces that you can just instantly put in place. So
yeah, I definitely went with the build it over a long period of time model.
Yes.
Which can be good for its longevity too. Like, I don't have a lot of capital tied up in a single card or, anything like that. But yeah, you have to, it's really grindy type stuff.
It is,
until you get it to a certain spot. And, now I'll go a week and not even list anything, and I don't have to, I'll still get the same sales.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue that newer sellers, you really can't do that. You got to have some stuff added to that every day, and
feed the beast.
Yeah, you got to take better pictures, and like you have to do some extra things to get somewhere where I can skip a lot of that and take the easier way out, if you will.
Yeah.
And still get the business. So, but that also means I'm very careful on how much I do add or change or subtract, because I have that solid base and I don't want to alienate them.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah, that
so
sense.
That's where I like having some higher dollar cards listed for sure. I mean, I sold 2 PSA cards today too. Let me see. I don't remember what I sold them for. One I sold for 35 and the other one I sold for 65.
Okay.
So, and they're both to the same buyer, but, so I get some higher dollar stuff in there too. I have a Yoda quote unquote rookie card that I sold today for $12.99. So it's not like I have a $1.99 store, I'm not a dollar store.
Yeah.
But I like this kind of stuff that entices the buyer to buy the bigger, like build their own lots, right? Yeah, I've told you that 1,000 times. That's one of my big strategies is, hey, here's a coupon. Go find yourself 25, 30 cards that you want. I'll give you a deal on it, and you help me out because I got these cards for basically nothing, so it's all profit for me, and I can get them out of my store and put another 30 cards in.
Yeah.
That have that same type of profile.
Yep.
Because you're more likely to sell on a coupon, on a buy 10 coupon, you're more likely to get people to use that coupon when they're buying $1.99 and $2.99 cards.
Right.
Than $29 cards. And they got to buy 10 of them. You're probably not taking somebody from a $30 order to a $300 order, but you might take them from a $3 to $5 order to a $20 to $25 order.
Sure.
So that's my approach, because I don't want a $2 order either. I don't want to sell $1.99 card, margins are great, but goddamn, you got to sell a ton of those to get anywhere. I want to sell a $1.90 card, 99 card, but 20 of them at a time.
Yeah, I think the idea is you're building a floor of add-on cards.
Right. Yeah. Candy bars at the checkout. That's how I look at it. Candy bars at the checkout are huge margins.
Yep.
But they're not going to pay your bills for your grocery store.
Yeah.
So it's, okay, you put the milk in the back, which maybe you only make 20 cents on a gallon of milk, but everybody has to buy it. But then they get king size candy bars, dude, are like $3 now. It's insane. But you get a king size candy bar at the checkout. They probably paid like a quarter for that or 50 cents for that. I mean, it's super cheap.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. So you try to pump your margins on the smaller dollar items, but then you need to sell more of them. That's where the challenge comes in.
And here's where I think maybe folks can understand why I'm making the changes I'm making right now in my journey is it's really easy to source cards for the floor. And it's really easy to get good buys. It's really easy to have low risk because your buy-in is pretty low. And as a result, it's probably, I would guess for most sellers, that's the first part of the store that starts filling up with quantity, right? At least it did for me, right? 2 years in, I had plenty of $1.99 stuff. Mm-hmm. The problem started becoming that my checkouts, the racks at the checkouts were overflowing. Right. But then when you went down the main aisles, there was lots of holes in the shelves that were bare. So I'm selling a ton of single order $1.99 cards, and they're not acting as add-ons, right?
Right.
So that's where I'm kind of redistributing my inventory now, so I can build up that infrastructure better for that add-on model.
Yeah, and I've never had that problem, so I guess I was lucky that way, and probably because I had some bigger cards right off the bat too.
You had your Favre collection to start with, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a bunch of Jordan stuff, and I got in early on Ohtani stuff, and I've been doing this a while, so I have some of that stuff built up too. I was in day one on Mahomes stuff. The bigger names you think about right now, I've been around for, and that's definitely help boost those numbers.
Right.
But I see what you're saying. You're selling more Nike shoelaces than you are Nike shoes.
Yes.
And the shoes are the bigger chunks at a time versus the margins are better on the shoelaces, but you need to sell the shoes.
Yep. And I need to get more of those customers as well. So that
it's going to be harder to get inventory.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that. Yeah.
Because we've even chuckled about that in the past. We went to the first national you went to. We were like, we're going to stick to like $1 to $5 boxes. We want some better money stuff.
Yeah, we did try that. Yeah.
And you were like, man, you're right. I can't find any value in any of these. And we're right back to the quarter and 50-cent boxes. So it's going to be tough. Now in those quarter and 50-cent boxes, you can find some $5 to $10 cards. Mm-hmm. But it would be a lot easier in the $2 to $3 boxes. You have to be willing to give up the margin. That's what you have to be willing to do. And that's a tough one to swallow because you go, well, I'm only going to make $1 on this. I can make $1 on a quarter card.
Yep.
Is that the right trade? I don't know. Because you can't think about, a lot of times people talk about income, right? Well, I want to get more income this year. So I'm going to start selling more expensive cards, right? Because in theory, you sell more expensive cards, you should make more money.
Yeah.
But you're not making more money. You get more income, but you're spending more on the cards. Your cost of goods is higher.
You are, but if you can do it right, you can still have some margins left in there that make it.
Yeah, you can. Effective. You're just going to be, instead of spending more time pulling orders, you're going to be spending more time sourcing. We talk about that with the live selling.
Yeah,
that's a big thing with the live selling. Like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, you can turn it all over today for less money, but now you got to go get more cards for tomorrow. And while cards aren't scarce, it does take time. It does take time to acquire them, and especially if you're trying to go for a little bit more mid-level price.
Yep,
you have to be somewhat selective on what you pick up versus. You can buy a couple of 5-row boxes for a couple $100 and you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to find a lot of $5 to $10 cards in those types of boxes.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer buying any of the random base stuff or any of that. I've definitely gotten more selective and buy most of my stuff at shows. I'm not buying lots. I still like to buy out a dealer here or there if the price is right, because
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
lot of times cards I've sold out of those buys have been cards I wouldn't necessarily pick up. So it's
Mhm.
nice to see, oh man, you can sell these cards, and I have zero investment in them, so I don't really care if they sit there.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the bigger thing you know any seller would need to make some decisions on is when you start getting closer to your listing limits. What do you do then?
Mhm.
You start doing more live shows? Do you open another store? Do you do what you did and kind of change your pricing model and go with less cards but try to get better dollars out of them? I don't know.
All of the above.
I mean, all of those are plays, yes. So
Yeah.
I mean, my income in my sports store has gone up every year, a little bit less last year than previous years, but my non-sport income has gone up like 400%,
Yeah.
with adding another store. So it's like I'm still making more money. It's just not necessarily coming from the same place.
Right. Yeah, I think it made a big difference that you focused the second store on it too. I know you're
Yeah.
blending it a little more now, but it really did make a difference when you initially
Yeah.
opened it and you were
Yeah. And I
splitting.
only did a couple of stacks of blending, and that was during like slow sales season.
Yeah.
Now the stuff sells so fast, like I can't even keep it full. So I
Okay.
haven't had to do that. And I have more non-sport inventory to list. For a while there, you hit those dry spells, which is kind of what you find when you're trying to sell $5 to $10 cards. The inventory becomes slimmer.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's where I'm going to continue to focus is. And non-sport's weird. Like it's hard to find. You can't go to like a $5 or $10 box at a show and just buy non-sport cards. Like that doesn't,
Yeah.
at least where we are. It doesn't show up that often. You have to kind of be willing to take what you can get, that has some market to it, and be happy with it. Pay up a little bit if you got to. Whatever. That's definitely things that I've done to try to build it, but it's been
Sure.
worth it.
Yeah. I would say it has.
Yeah.
Well, Susie's sharing some secrets with us. She says, my Aussie secret is I have been buying a lot of cards from a China seller on eBay, and I bid on lots and win lots, so I average 50 cents Australian a card. So she's found, sounds like she's found a little sweet spot for herself.
I've looked into that too myself, and you do have to be careful because there's a lot of fakes and stuff out there,
Hmm.
especially like Pokemon and that. But yeah, if you have a seller and it's legit cards, have you gotten any of their cards yet? Um, because that'd be my one caution to you is China doesn't have the regulation, so they just sell fake whatever, and they don't care, especially when they're selling to someone outside of China.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you're getting like legit cards for those prices, and it's been a better buy. See, now you're probably going, okay, well, if I buy them from China cheaper than buying them from America, that makes sense because you're going to have that shipping either way. Versus me, or us, I should say, we're going, okay, well, I could get the card a little cheaper in China, but I got to pay all that shipping. I'll just buy it in the US, pay a little bit more, but not have any shipping or any, shouldn't say shipping. Well, shipping, yes, but also duties, tariffs, any of that kind of stuff on
You
top of
said
it.
duties.
I did double duties, pay duties on both sides, which really sucks.
Dan's with us. He's really late tonight. Where you been, Dan?
Poof, there he is.
Yeah, poof. Susie says she's emailed CDP waiting on a reply so she can get started there in Australia. She says she runs coupons. She has too many single card buyers. I find it's helpful turning this into repeat customers.
Coupons are definitely in my opinion, the hot button thing you need to do if you're a low end seller to get. being a lone seller is great, but you got to find a way to sell multiple cards. That is, to me, is the real challenge. Selling them one by one is going to take you a ton of time, cost you a ton of expenses and fees. And the margins are great, but those get cut into really fast.
Yeah.
With that stuff. So you got to find a way to get people to buy more cards. And giving them money off is a good experience for your customer. It's that everybody wins philosophy, right? You know, you pay less expense, you get more cards sold, the buyer gets a better price, you know, wants to come back to you because you have good deals, that kind of thing. I think about that a lot. We were talking about comping today on Discord too. And I overpriced my cards, and that's one of the reasons that I don't spend a ton of time comping, because I know I'm going to charge more than the next guy, and I get that sale price a lot. And if I don't, and then you go, well, yeah, but if you're overpriced, no one's going to buy from you. Well, sometimes that's the case. However, when they're making their lots and they can get it for half the price, now I'm usually slightly under comps or right at comps.
Yeah.
So I'm still getting the sale at a different price point. So that's how I feel like it balances itself out. Because I'll take a higher quantity sale for a lesser price. I mean, that just makes sense.
And I struggle with this one. There's a school of thought out there as well that says, well, when you're constantly running coupons and you're building that coupon into your sale price, now you're just training your buyer that your asking price means nothing. They're purely coupon shoppers and they never pay full price for anything. But you see people buy, you know, full price cards too. So I don't know how well that holds up.
And my full prices are still higher. They're still like at a premium.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I sold those 2012 Tom Brady Topps cards, just Topps base cards. Okay. $10 for those 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's way above comps. I think comps are like $2 and some odd cents.
Mm-hmm.
No, if they had bought those, so I charged $5 a piece essentially. Now, if they had bought those in a 10 card package, they would have gotten them for $250.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So even though my coupon is giving my buyer a better price, I'm still just selling it at comps. So it's a great deal for me. Mm-hmm. See, you see my strategy there? That's why
I absolutely
they're like, oh, you're losing half your money. Well, no, I'm really not, because I'm pricing it up. And then you have the instance where, like I said, somebody just bought the 2 cards. Yeah, I think because of what we sell is so unique, you know, pricing wise and everything, there's such a range and all that, and you don't know who your buyer is going to be. I don't think that the coupon means that you're only going to get a sale if somebody gets the coupon deal. Like it just hasn't resulted. I agree with you. It hasn't resulted that way for me.
Yeah, I see it in your sales all the time that it doesn't seem to hold true for you, but at the same time, I kind of see the logic in that argument. But you're the trend breaker, damn it!
Right. And that's because I've stayed consistent with the prices I list at. So when somebody, remember, you can change the comp, right?
Yeah.
You can be the person who changes that comp. So let's say everybody before me who sold a box of these Cracola crayons, wacky packages, sticker cards, sold them for $2. I sold this for $5. Well, now there's a comp out there for $5.
Yeah.
So now when I buy my next stack of wacky packages cards and I list them, well, now there's sales with higher numbers. Mm-hmm. So the thing I don't like about comps is we all want to go, okay, well, this is the average sale or the last sale or whatever. That's what I'm going to sell mine for. Well, guess what? Cards never go up in value if nobody asks more for them. Why are we always selling at a discount? You shouldn't be selling at a discount. You should be selling at a premium. You should be Nikes, not Skechers. So on the argument of the coupon doesn't hold up because that's just selling at comps. But maybe slightly under comps at times. But
I don't always feel comfortable with that analogy of Nikes versus Skechers because, you know, as you described, we just got done talking about this. So you list at a Nike price, but then you sell it at a Nike outlet store price because you use
Correct.
a coupon, you know?
Correct.
So which one are you, Jekyll and Hyde?
No, and that's exactly how Nike operates.
Yeah.
Most of, like, a good portion of their income comes from the sales at their outlet stores.
Okay. All right.
So, but does that mean that nobody's going into Foot Locker and paying $160 for a pair of Jordans? Absolutely not.
No.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So what you do, let's say an Air Jordan shoe is really worth like $65 to $75. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when they set it at, premium retail locations and they sell them for 180, they're shooting for the gold, right? And they'll sell some of them at that. Mm-hmm. But then what happens when they go to the outlet mall? How much does the outlet store charge for that pair of shoes?
$90.
Right. Is that more than the 65 to 75 they really need to get for the shoes? Right. Mm-hmm. But now you bought them at 90. Did you get a deal? You feel like you got a deal?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a deal?
Not really.
There you go. That's the Nike strategy, and it works.
Yeah.
They sell Michael. And this is a prime example because I literally just did this last week. I went into Dick's to look for some Bo Jackson card boxes because they had gotten some in. Of course, I missed them, unfortunately. But so anyway, I was poking around in there. Wife and kid were down at Hobby Lobby. I have no interest in that place whatsoever. So I'm like, I'm going to poke around in the store. Mm-hmm. I found a Michael Jordan sweatshirt in there. Nothing fancy, a little bit of embroidery on it. Of course, it's got the Jumpman logo on it. Guess what they were asking for that sweatshirt?
$75.
$95.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if that goes to the outlet mall, what's the outlet mall going to charge for that or ask for that?
$45.
$40 to $50, and you're like, wow, this is a good deal. I saw it for $90 at Dick's. Is that sweatshirt really worth $45 to $50?
No, they manufacture it for $5.
Right. So all they're doing is creating a premium market that a lot of people aren't going to buy or can't buy, but some people can buy. So now they're fancy, right? Because they can buy it. Mm-hmm. And then when it goes down to at least an affordable price, even though it's overpriced, you're going to buy it because you're like, I can live like the premium guy who paid $90 for this thing, but I only paid 60.
Right.
See, it's more mental than it is actual numbers.
Yeah.
So I protect my downside by overcharging and then offering the discount. Mm-hmm. Kohl's is a huge example of this. In fact, they lost a lawsuit over it. So Kohl's gets a brand new product in, right? Mm-hmm. They put it on a discount the day they get it in and put it on the shelf.
Okay.
So let's say it's a $30 shirt, right? Mm-hmm. And you go into Kohl's and they got this new rack of these awesome shirts. And they say $50 at 30% off. So it's $30.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, I'm getting a great deal on this $50 shirt at $30. Mm-hmm. But it's a $30 shirt. And literally day one, they put it on a discount. They didn't even try to sell it at full price, right? Yeah. Because people want a deal. They want a deal. Even if they're not getting an actual deal, they want to tell their friends they got a deal.
So... Yeah, the psychology of a deal is powerful.
And now I'm not, you can make the argument of you're ripping off your customers, blah, blah, blah. But that's just not how it works. If someone pays the price, agrees to pay the price for something you're selling, that's the comp. That's a comp. That's an appraisal.
Yeah.
Right? You can argue all day long, well, that house is only worth $500,000. I wouldn't pay a penny more than that. Somebody else drives up and pays $750,000 for it. Guess how much it's worth?
$750.
$750. So you have to be willing. You have to be willing to be the person, be the company, be the business that's going to say, I'm going to get these prices to increase, and I'm going to. We talked about that very early on. You do not want to be the super undercut dude. You're going to be doing a ton of work for no money. And the next guy is going to undercut you, and the next guy is going to undercut you. Why why race to the bottom? It makes zero sense. You should be racing to the top.
Yeah.
You should want to get as much money as you possibly can, you know?
Yep.
So
I agree with that.
that's how I play my game. And then when they're getting them at comps, great. I'm willing to sell you it at comps, but I want that quantity sale done.
Yeah.
Then I want more income and turn over more inventory. Because I didn't find my premium buyer who's going to pay 40% over comps or 30% over comps.
So it's kind of, last couple of weeks I've talked about having an exit strategy. You've kind of got that built in that way, that you've got your premium price. If I can get somebody in 90 days for that, that's great, right?
Yep.
If not, then I've got this exit strategy of the coupon where I'm still making a solid margin because I'm at market comps. They're just using my coupon.
And I can also play the Kohl's angle. So you could come in day one and buy it at 30% off, right?
Yeah,
with the
that's true.
coupon. But I don't care because I did that on day one, even though the price was higher than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you the price is higher than that. It's not. I'm selling it to you for less, but I overpriced it right off the start.
Yeah.
So immediately day one, you're going, he's selling this Ohtani card for this deal. I'm snapping this up right now. I don't want anybody else to beat me to this. He just listed it. I'm the winner. And really all you did was pay comps or slightly over comps in some cases, many cases, really.
Yeah.
And I get the quantity sale, and now like, okay, I listed that card and maybe that wasn't the big winner, but it sold 9 other cards that I didn't find a premium buyer for.
Yeah.
So this is probably the best conversation I've ever had about explaining how I do it.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. It's really hard to tell someone. Because it's just a lot of psychological stuff. And I don't know that everybody understands that part in business. They just look at like dollars and cents and, but I see the more successful businesses are the ones that overprice everything and are willing to sell it to you at price. So you think you got a deal.
Yeah.
That is such a great business model.
Yeah, I think the only challenge
Assuming
is trying to
people
figure out
continue
where's
to
that
see
price point. What?
Well, right.
Yeah.
But that's where the coupon comes in. If I don't find my premium buyer, okay, well, I'll just sell it for what the market says it's worth then. Great.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's still a good sale for me. That'd be a good sale for me anyway.
Yeah.
But at least I tried to get something better than comp.
Sure.
Like dealer tables, right? So you go to a show and you're looking at like the better cards in a case, right? Do they price at comps?
No.
They price over comps, right?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because you're expecting people to negotiate. So you're
right.
leaving
So
room.
You come in and you say, I'm buying at 80%. Now, what did you do when you bought it at 80%?
You really bought it at like 90% because they were probably 10% over. Yeah.
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 See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the same strategy. It's just not that in-person dickering. And for some reason that gets lost in translation when you're selling online, but you're still trying to complete that psychological agreement with your customer.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. I agree. This was probably one of the better discussions about it too.
Yeah. So those of you who aren't watching this live, rewind it and play it again, because I don't think I'm ever going to be able to come up with this again. But that's why I like the Nike and Skechers relationship. And I have nothing against Skechers. I have 2 really nice pairs of Skechers that I adore.
Yeah.
But it's just, they're 2 completely different business strategies, right? I don't think anybody argues that. So that's why I like that example, because I feel like Nike, I identify the best with Nike in the sense of branding and creating a premium following. And I don't have the celebrities and stuff pushing my cards, and then maybe one day that'd be cool. But they put all the tools in place to make you think that Nike sports clothing is worth paying twice as much as any other sports clothing. Is it in
Yeah.
reality? Probably not. But they've
Yeah.
spent all their time and all their energy in getting you to believe that, so you do. And I do too. I love Nike stuff. I love Air Jordans. The Jumpman logo gets me excited. I love that logo. And a lot of us buy stuff based on logo. Is Starbucks coffee any better than the little Java Hut down the street? No. But people buy Starbucks because it's Starbucks. You know, oh, Apple's got a new product out. Oh, it's got to be the best because it's Apple. Is it? Probably not. But you know, so branding is important. You know, making people real. You know, believe you have a premium product. Following through with that, right? So you want to make sure you list your cards correctly, you ship on time, you ship safely, right? You still got to come through with like the customer experience portion of it to maintain yourself as a premium brand, a premium company, a premium business, whatever. And then just let that continue to grow over time. Get that word of mouth out there, have some, you know, exposure to that brand, whatever it takes, and get in as many marketplaces as you can. You know, all those same strategies that a Nike would have, you're going to have too. And then when you can't find that premium buyer, then be willing to sell it in your outlet mall for comps.
Right. Yeah. I see what you're doing. And I understand the logic on it.
Yeah.
All right, one more chat, and then we got to shut her down for the night.
Yep.
Russell says, can you do that by putting the cards in one listing, or is it better to list them individually? Oh boy. What part of the conversation were we at?
I don't know.
Was it the
Is he
international
talking about selling
shipping?
international? Yeah, I can, but I have to make a separate list. Excuse me, a separate listing to do that. So usually what I do, I try to keep it really simple. I just take a random picture of like a blank screen or something, and I make a listing. I put the buyer's name, username in the listing, just like 25 cards for Lutz 82 or whatever. Post it. Then I take the link, the share link from that, and I message it to my buyer. And I say, here, click this link and buy this. It'll be one shipping. And that's how I do it. And then once that listing gets paid for, then I have to go individually take down the listings that I combined into that one sale, because it's not going to remove them from your inventory. That's how I do it. I've done it that way several times. It's been a little while. I haven't had one of those in a bit, but I get that a lot with soccer cards, non-sport cards, Star Wars, stuff like that. That's more a few basketball sales, I think, were international. That's most of the time when I see it.
Yeah, he actually clarifies. He says selling $1.99 cards with a coupon. So that's actually individual listings that we're talking about, the coupon sales. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. If you were to put it all in one, then you're just selling a lot.
Right.
And you probably don't need a coupon because you're already adding a quantity discount on a lot typically. And,
you know, any card I would list for $1.99, I probably paid 10 cents or less for.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got a pretty solid margin built in there, and you're selling 10 at a time. Not only is it a good margin, then it's actually a good dollar return on it too, because you're not doing it one by one. If you sell with the coupon in the coupon example, anyway.
Yep. All right. Well, we went long on back-to-back weeks. How about that?
I like to talk. What can I say? I had a lot to share. I gotta say thanks to you, because you make me rethink things and make me think through, you know, okay, is my strategy wrong, or should I be doing something different? Because I like your strategies and I like where you're going and I like, you know, the things you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. But I also like that it reaffirms what I'm doing is what I need to do for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's not like we're trying to talk each other into doing different things. We're just trying to show like where we're coming from and why we're doing what we're doing and what our approach is, and, you know, where you want to save your time. Well, I want to take less time, you know, pulling orders, but I'm going to spend more time then procuring inventory.
Mhm.
You know, so
It's all trade-offs.
right, it kind of is. I mean,
Yeah.
in the end, you know, it still comes down to making your money when you buy, getting things list. You know, there's still like the normal things that you have to do in order to get anywhere with it. But yeah, there's a lot of different strategies, a lot of different ways to play. There's a lot of people who are just selling lots, and you know, you do whatever you got to do, you know, to what makes sense on your side.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good conversation tonight. I like this.
Well, I think it's time for a weekly recap. So that's going to be it for tonight. We talked selling low end is hard, very hard sometimes. International rates are brutal. What sells is unpredictable. And eBay still finds ways to confuse everyone with coupons lately. But we adapt, we adjust, we don't panic because it's the circle of life. Nike retail to Nike outlet, if you will. Hakuna Matata. And we'll catch you next time.
Sounds good. And remember, you can't sell what you don't list.